Hello, I'm Cosmic Jack. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is officially summer. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it, but this year has been one wild ride of a roller coaster. And the good news is, if you have almost been doing the energetic, emotional work, the identity work, the foundational work, I really feel like this second half of the year is really going to shift for you. I have full body chills as I say that. And the reason why is because we are being fueled forward into this like rebirth portal. And we have learned to upgrade our identity and what is required of us and how we see and view ourselves, and really taking on new responsibilities to actualize that next level. We have new expansion in our bodies and in our nervous system. Thank you to that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. So we are just, our level of security and stability and value and worth in ourselves has shifted and changed. Jupiter has moved into Gemini, so we're a lot more creative, a lot more social, a lot more able to make things happen. And it's all like setting us up and teeing us up for success with this Cancer season. And this Cancer season isn't like normal, typical Cancer seasons. And I should backtrack and say, like, I'm really seeing things come into fruition now that I've really been building for all year. So I know that you guys are feeling this also. That's why I created the Cosmic Jedi container to support you in landing this next shift, because astrology continues to be the tool, like the tool to set yourself up for success. And so like I was already just looking through the astrology for Cancer season, and I was just like, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how to work with this. I know exactly what's coming. I know exactly what's happening. I know exactly how to, like, what I need to do to tee myself up for success, right? And I know the themes that are coming. And what is really happening is we're being asked to be emotionally strong and supportive and like solid in ourselves. One, we're being asked to take on new responsibilities and new standards for ourselves. And we're really going to have to face and confront all of the ways in which we escape and we avoid and we feel lost, we feel confused, we feel unclear, we feel like we are overwhelmed, we're anxious, and we don't know how to make things happen. And let me tell you, the secret is you do, right? Like you do have the clarity. You do know how to make things happen. You just have to learn to develop that self-trust, which is essentially that upheaval that happened in the beginning of the year, and learn how to master your emotions. If there is one skill I wish for everyone, it is learning how to master their emotions. Because until you learn how to master your emotions, you are just going to be wobbled and swayed and waved and lost in the sauce and being emotionally impulsive and reactive, and then making life decisions from that place. Especially if you are a business owner or you're an entrepreneur, or if you're wanting to date and be in relationship, you want to have deeper fulfillment in all of those places. Learn how to master your emotions. I guarantee you your results will shift. I'm like spitting all over the place. And here's the thing. Cancers have the potential to be the masters of emotions, right? I, as someone who is a male Cancer attraction magnet, I learn actually so much about emotions from how they deal with their emotions, right? And both good and bad, by the way, both good and bad. Because I have a Chiron in Cancer. Like that is what I'm here to actually learn. It's also conjunct Jupiter. So this has been a major like wound for me, is being really emotionally numb. And when I was really emotionally numb, let me tell you, I was about 25 pounds heavier. I was unhappy in all of my relationships. I was unhappy with myself. My heart was fucking closed. I didn't have like fulfillment or just like joy. All of my connections were really surface level. I wasn't living a life from my heart. I wasn't living a life from my joy. And it wasn't until I really learned how to feel my emotions that my life shifted. And the shadow side of Cancer is they can be really self-protected because they are super vulnerable, right? They have the hard candy shell, as I like to say, but they're mushy and gushy and taste really good on the inside. Like crab is delicious, right? Put some butter on that crab. Like give me some of that goodness, that inner goodness, right? And they're so giving. They're so giving, and they're so sweet, and they're so just loving and loyal. But in order to open themselves up to the receiving and the reverberation back of all of that love, they have to risk exposure, right? And the problem where Cancers get themselves in trouble is, one, they cling. They have those claws. I call them the Cancer clinger. They cling to the past, and they emotionally resonate with things that feel safe, which sometimes the things that emotionally feel safe are not what's actually for your benefit and for your good, right? And so you have to learn how to soften into your body and into your emotions and trust yourself that it is safe to crack open. Because if your heart is closed, you're blocking your blessings, bitch. Like, point fucking blank. I was like always like so unhappy and so numb, and like being like, didn't understand why I wasn't getting results. It's because my heart was goddamn closed, right? And it's like, you can't expect to receive anything, like good or bad, if your heart is closed. And so I had to really learn how to develop that self-protection, like that self-security, that self-reassurance, that not self-protection in like a closing up way, which, you know, that's like why people are really self-protective, is it's a protection mechanism, right? Because they feel too vulnerable being exposed. And it's like, actually like, no, like I got you if something bad happens, right? That's what I mean by being self-protective. It's like, you're good. It is safe to put your heart out there because like I got your back, right? Like that's the energy. And so in order to reach more levels of joy and happiness and fulfillment, you have to release the emotional, energetic cords of your past. You have to be able to anchor in self-safety, self-nurturance, self-reassurance so that you feel emotionally safe. And you have to risk exposure, which feels vulnerable as fuck, right? And develop a relationship with your heart. Because when you turn to your heart and like what makes you feel your best, that's really when you can be in your happiness and your joy and your fulfillment. But so many people are like just blocking themselves from experiencing how good life can get, is because they're not willing to, one, release the past, to feel their emotions. Hello, that was like Master Avoider, 6 Planets in Era. I'm like, what are these emotions? Wow. But let me tell you, your rewards are on the other side of you moving through your emotions. And 3, they're not willing to risk the vulnerability, right? And vulnerability is like super brave, right? It's super brave, especially when people, we live with a life full of people who are invulnerable, right? But that's what makes you authentic, is your vulnerability. And so you have to be willing to risk that exposure and be willing to crawl out of your fucking Cancer shell and feel something. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not willing to feel, you can't feel the joy, all the joy and the happiness too, which is like the whole point of doing this work. And so this Cancer season is really getting back in touch with your emotional feeling and your ability to make yourself feel emotionally safe, emotionally sound, emotionally secure, and being really strong in your emotional foundations. Because otherwise, you are a slave to your goddamn emotions, right? And we have some benefits with 2 full moons in Capricorn happening this Cancer season. And let me backtrack again and say this Cancer season is going to feel different already, because this is going to be the first Cancer season without Pluto in Capricorn opposing all of this Cancer energy for the first time in 15 years. And so this Cancer season has the potential to feel a little lighter and less emotionally intense. However, we do have 2 full moons in Capricorn. So it is about emotional responsibility, right? And so we really enter the solstice like early because of the leap year on June 20th when the sun moves into Cancer. And then we have the full moon in Cancer on the 21st at 1 degree of Capricorn. And this full moon is happening square Neptune. And so it has the potential to be a really feeling full moon. And when it comes to Pisces energy is really here to bring things full circle. And that is what full moons do. They bring things to fruition, to manifestation and completion. And so this has a potential to like bring something you've been wanting and desiring and working your ass off for so long to fruition. But it depends on your ability to stay grounded, right? Pisces has to be able to ground in the 3D. And Pisces gets lost in the fucking sauce when they are ungrounded, right? They have the power to be the most powerful manifestors, but it is directly attributed to their ability to stay grounded and master their emotions. And so that's really what we're being asked to do with this first full moon. And the full moon in the dichotomy of Cancer and Capricorn is really about your home and your inner life versus your public outer life and your legacy and your success. And really, it's like the emotional foundations required to set yourself up for success. If you think you're emotionally solid and like sure as shit, start your own goddamn business and like tell me how emotionally solid you are. Because like I had no idea that was even a fucking thing until I started my own business. And I was just like, oh, like my energy like determines my business's outcomes. So I need to be like emotionally solid and be able to navigate my emotions because it directly affects my business, right? Business is a really powerful reflector and mirror for you. So it's like any problem that your business is having, it can be reflected in your inner world, right? And so knowing how to master and work with your emotions is super powerful. That is just my experience. And doing the nervous system regulation and capacity work, which again is about your emotional mastery. So the Cancer Capricorn axis is really about like the practicality and the ambition, right? Capricorn is focused on the long-term goals. It's like it's like the peak of the mountain that they're always stretching for, right? It's their highest aspiration, and the responsibilities, like the practical responsibilities that you need to get you there, right? I've been doing this like body masterclass, and like Capricorns is about the knees, right? The knees are the most complicated joint in your body, right? And it's like the things that you use to step and move you forward, right? It's like you can't argue, like good luck moving very far and climbing a hill if your knees can't bend, right? And so you have to have like some sort of flexibility because the knees are actually about surrender as well. But but there also needs to be structure to support the rest of your body to stand, right? And so it's like, what do you actually need to climb that mountain and to climb that hill, right? You need a bit of flexibility and you need structure. And Capricorn masters both, right? And they're really just practical about what's required to get there, yeah? And it is emotional mastery. Capricorn moons are extremely emotional intelligent. I grew up with two of them. Both of my parents are Capricorn moons, and they are just super emotionally responsible, right? And don't get it twisted because Capricorns are the sea goat. So they do have an ability to feel and stretch their emotions deep, but they do not let their emotions wash or wallow them away from getting the job fucking done, right? It's like there's a job that needs to get done. Like I will die before I let my emotions rule my life, right? Like Capricorns are super responsible emotionally that way. They're like, no, like there's work that needs to get done. I can feel my emotions later. I'm not making my emotions mean anything. They're just like there and they're along for the ride, but I'm not like feeding my emotions. And so the emotional mastery is super important when it comes to actualizing your dreams and your goals, because you can't have like, your inner child running your business. You can't have your child like dictating your your adult life. Like Capricorn is about being an adult. Yeah. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is wants you serious. Saturn wants you structured. Saturn is super responsible. And so there needs to be a level of maturity for you to like get serious and be like, okay, like actually what is required and what do I need to develop in order to achieve my goals? Yeah. And, Capricorns want the fucking status. They want the legacy. Like, no broke bitch is gonna do for a Capricorn. They're like, nuh-uh, I'm so driven. I work hard and I work my ass off to get what I want. And so there really is like a reflection point with these full moons to be like, okay, like what is my public image? What do I want to be known for? What is my reputation? And it's a good opportunity for you to like look at your brand, your business, your career, if all of those things are applicable to you, and like see, like, are you operating on par with like your desires, right? Or is it time to raise the goddamn bar, right? Raise the goddamn standard, because you really get in life what your standards are. And if your standards are like really fucking low, you know, people do this in dating all the time, right? It's like, oh, like the standards are so low in dating that they just like settle for like the crumbs, right? And it's like, dude, you got to raise your fucking bar. And then on the flip, you got to also be the woman who is matches your standard, right? It's like, if you want a 1% man, you need to be a 1% woman. Yeah. And so it's like matching it and getting really serious with that energy, because a really good way for you to set yourself up for disappointment is to not match your fucking standards. Yeah. And you have to just be like, what are you willing to do? Like, people who win are willing to do the work, right? I work with professional athletes. Like, they are fucking willing to do the work. Just because someone has potential doesn't mean that they're going to have all the success in the achievements, because there's like this saying that's like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? Something like that. And it's like, no, you actually just have to be willing to work. Point blank. Be willing to work, be willing to win. And really just be strategic about where you're going to ensure that in 6 months' time with the full moon in Cancer, you are at where you want to be. So you can backtrack. Okay, like look at your end game in 6 months' time at the end of the year. What will you have to do today to set yourself up for success 6 months from now? And then work backwards and then implement immediately, right? So if in 6 months' time you invested in that thing that you wanted, then you have to actually invest in that thing, right? If in 6 months' time you want to be in a relationship, then now you actually have to put yourself in a position to receive that relationship, right? You might have to like go on a fucking date, gasp, right? I'm like, I used to like want to be in a relationship, but then I like wasn't doing anything to put myself out there. Like, how am I supposed to like have a relationship when my heart was closed and I wasn't putting myself out there? It's like, you actually have to meet the universe with like what you say you want, right? And so just work backwards and just get really practical about the responsibilities that are required. And then you just have to take action to meet your expectations, right? We have 3 full moons this summer ruled by Capricorn. We have 2 in ruled by Saturn. We have 2 in Capricorn and 1 in Aquarius. So Saturn is about structure. It is about responsibility. Saturn wants you to be an adult. Saturn wants you to get serious. And just get really real with yourself. Like, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be willing to win and willing to work. And this is going to be like a really big opportunity for things to actually land, right? Because Saturn rewards you. Saturn doesn't make you put in all of this fucking work and all of this effort to just leave you high and dry, right? But it's saying you got to be emotionally responsible. You got to put yourself out there. You have to connect to your joy. You have to open your heart. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to release the past. No Cancer clingy. No getting butthurt and in your feelings. Use them as fuel to move you forward. Watch my YouTube last week about that, because that was really powerful. I got a lot of responses about that. And really just have the drive and the grit and the determination that you will be successful, right? You already know you're going to be successful. You already know it. I know it. You know it. Yeah? But you just have to move accordingly and in congruence with what you say that you want, and be really, really, really willing to be responsible. The people who are the most successful are the most responsible and the most generous. I'm around a lot of successful people. Those are the 2 things they have in common. They're really fucking responsible, they work hard, and they're very fucking generous. So, if you can do those 3 things, you're setting yourself up for success. And then we get to crack open our hearts and do it with joy and love, because that is the fucking standard, right? We do all of this work to have more joy, not to suffer more. Connect to the success in a playful, fun, happy way, because you have to enjoy the journey along the way, because otherwise, what's the point? So if you are in the midst of this change and this transition, and you really want to nail down what's next in a very calm, easy, effective, smooth transition and way, this is what I'm holding space for inside of the Cosmic Jedi. I have been navigating so much behind the scenes, and so much is landing, and so I really got you in this change and transition, because astrology really is the guide for you to quantum leap and portal hop and be like literally the cosmic Jedi, just like navigating change like a motherfucking boss, and using your birth chart for like real-time direction and support, so that you know exactly what's coming up, the lessons you're here to milk and juice and learn and embody and become and be, so that you can actually next level and get to your change that much quicker and smoothly and effectively, because we're all getting pushed through this portal. So it's like, do you want to do it with support? Support makes it 100 times easier, promise. I'm so excited to hold space for this Cosmic Jedi. It's literally genius. I'm so excited. I'm also hosting 2 fun containers next week. One is being Bridgerton, adding romance back into your fucking lives, because dry, dusty ass energy is done. It's boring. You got to invoke play and pleasure and romance and embody that queen. Be the season's diamond heading into the summer of fun. And I know I like just told you all like be fucking like I'm like I know I just told you all like to be fucking responsible this summer, but you are responsible so that you can have more fun, right? I used to think that responsibility was like the fun killer and like was the joy sucker, and now I'm like, no, it actually gives me the freedom to whatever the fuck I want. Right? So like see responsibility as your ticket to joy and as your ticket to pleasure, and like doing whatever the fuck you want, all of the freedom in the world. Responsibility is your meal ticket. Yeah. And so I'm also supporting you in Hot Body Bitch, which is basically my astrology mastery when it comes to integrating astrology with your body, with your health, and how to come back into balance with your body so that you can be your hot bitch self. Because this is going to blow your mind when it comes to understanding your body and astrology in a new way, and your birth chart in a new way. And so you can just understand how to bring your body back into balance so that you can be confident and secure as fuck in your body, and really develop that relationships to always know what your body is communicating to you. Because if it is manifesting physically in your body, there's always an energetic root, and there's something that needs to be balanced and recalibrated within, and you can do that using astrology and knowing the archetypes. And so in this masterclass, it's a 2-day masterclass, I'm going to bring you all of the information you need to know to understand your body, have a deeper relationship with your body, and to come back into balance and be solid and secure quicker. And just be confident as fuck in your hot ass body. I already told you guys, I lost 25 pounds just by knowing my birth chart and my astrology and like my Cancer placements, right? Like, oh shit, like I was devoid of emotion because I have Jupiter and Chiron and Cancer in the 6th house. This is my meal ticket. And now this is how I support you in healing your relationship with your body. It's a part of my purpose. So I'll post the links for everything in the show notes below, but really enjoy this Cancer season. It's going to fuel you forward into your future through responsibility, through commitment, through discipline. Really just be grounded in the change. So sending you lots of love. Happy summer solstice.